You know what's crazy?
Welcome to the location where drama never ends, scandals break out, and Hollywood secrets are exposed. Before we begin, please make sure you don't miss the newest videos by clicking the subscribe button.
This be a perfect example on you gotta be very careful on who you bring in and who you put on. That's Little Meech right there. And if you don't know, he's the son of Big Meech. And if you don't know who that is, well, Big Meech was one of the biggest drug dealers in Detroit, blah, 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 blah. Anyways, long story short, he went in jail. He came out of jail and he started linking up with 50 Cent's ops. Now, bear in mind, 50 Cent made BMF and put Little Meech on BMF without any acting skill.
Floyd Mayweather has been warning Charleston White to avoid becoming involved in this Big Meech scenario since he was freed from prison, or else there will be dire repercussions. Charleston, though, is not going to back down and won't be quieted for speaking his mind. He stated in one of his consecutive interviews that there is no hard proof that Big Meech snitched on anyone, but he continued to support 50C, saying he had every right to do so since Big Meech and his son had joined forces with his adversaries, including Floyd Mayweather. Floyd is now alleging that if they cross paths, it's on sight, because Charleston said something that he didn't like.
Do your research, you find out that there's no paperwork on Big Meech. So if you go do your research, you find out that there's no paperwork on Big Meech. That's why you hadn't seen no paperwork. It's all hearsay. Somebody saying he told, or somebody saying he used Tammy Cowan's to set up Cuffy. Well, when you do your research and you look at the court documents that's on Big Meech, you see that Tammy Cowan's took the stand and said that she did this on her own accord without Big Meech's knowledge.
Let's just say that Charleston White dropped some bombs when he talked about the ongoing feud between 50 Cent and Big Meech Lil Me in a recent interview. He said that he hasn't seen the documentation to support 50 Cent's allegations that Big Meech is a snitch. Therefore, he doesn't entirely trust them. Things are becoming worse every day. Charleston wasn't holding back when he ended the rumors that Big Meech set up Cuffy and others using Tammy Cowan. He chastised people for leveling baseless charges and advised them to conduct due diligence before doing so. He subsequently took a strong stand against 50 Cent and attacked Big Meech and his son, demonstrating that he doesn't hold 50 responsible for his outburst because, when no one else, not even Rick Ross, had Big Meech's back, 50 took charge, cleaned him up, paid for acting school, and then cast him in a hit TV show that brought in millions of dollars.
Looking at it from 50 position, I go get your son. And at the time when I meet your son, he's not making the best decisions in life. You know, they say he was strung out on them perks, and they like to pop them perks. 50 take him somewhat, I wouldn't say clean him up, but spend 2 years in acting classes that 50 paid for. It was hard finding somebody to play the role of Big Meech, so we pick your son. 50, according to 50, he's put over $5 million into the pockets of Lil Meech and the family's, you know, financial, over $5 million. He's helped them make. Nigga blew your son up, and we bring you back to life. Prior to the BMF series, Big Meech was buried alive. Wasn't nobody saying his name. Jeezy wasn't really shouting him out no more. He was buried alive. So 50 bring life back to him, put his son in a position, turn his son into a millionaire, and he actually turned out to be a pretty good actor. You come home, I'm gonna put you in a better position. For you to go fuck Rick Ross, that's a slap in the face.
In a sense, 50 became Lil Meech's father while Big Meech was behind bars. Charleston claims that anyone in 50's shoes would be furious if, following all of that, the same individuals he assisted turned against him and joined forces with his adversaries. He said that Big Meech's and Rick Ross's relationship was a major betrayal and that both father and son should receive any money that 50 gives them. As you may remember, Big Meech got in touch with Rick Ross to get some quick money once he was released from prison, which is how the whole thing started. And if Lil Meech hadn't squandered all the money 50 put in his pockets when they were working together, this wouldn't have even been necessary. Lil Meech even defended his father in 50's DMS, claiming that Big Meech had done it merely to obtain the money. He messaged 50 stating, "They told me you unfollowed me on Instagram, and now you're managing Skillababy, but I was the one who brought him around you initially. You're angry with me, dude, even though you have no idea who he was. I'd give you the shirt off my back. I've only ever shown you love and loyalty. Therefore, I can't believe you're acting like I'm your adversary. Despite my humanity and my challenges, I have never betrayed you." It was clear that Lil Meech was trying to win back 50's favor, but 50 wasn't having any of it. He didn't ignore it. Instead, he cut off Lil Meech's biggest payment by announcing that he was canceling BMF. This choice sparked debate among fans.
I was like, damn, you know, like, seemed like him and 50 got a, you know, because after that thing came out, how Meech was talking all, you know, like, no, all y'all, I'm with my dead nigga, but I, you know, I ain't like his response, you know, but it seemed like he got a genuine love for 50 Cent on him, and from when I was reading it, like he seemed like he caught in the middle, but you know, like
Yeah.
he caught in the middle. That's what it seemed like from me reading it, but I'd have been like, you,
Right, because it's your father.
my daddy.
A little introspection. Lil Meech's decision to apologize was the right one. After everything, you would think that Big Meech and Lil Meech would at least try to get together and talk things out, but they chose to go in a different direction and made their positions known. He had a lot to say, and rather than allowing 50 to treat his father disrespectfully and get drunk, he ought to have stood his ground. One thing is certain though, Lil Meech's finances will suffer greatly if she is cut off by 50. He was put on by 50, and his primary source of income just stopped coming in without BMF. The fact that Lil Meech has been seen having a great time with Floyd Mayweather is not just a coincidence. Big Meech and Lil Meech have posted a ton of photos of themselves with Floyd and Rick Ross in recent weeks. If that's not a sure thing, Lil Meech even shared a whole slideshow of them having a good time at Miami's Lucky Strike bowling alley with the caption, "Real Power." I don't know what it is, but it didn't stop there. Rick Ross and 50 Cent have been fierce competitors for years, as everyone is aware, and their conflict started with something as insignificant as a glance. Additionally, Lil Meech posted photos of Floyd, his father, and himself at a hidden location. He just posted a video of himself and Floyd standing courtside at a Lakers game, demonstrating their hate toward 50. After Rick Ross believed that 50 had degraded him at a performance, it was all-out war trash recordings. Unreliable interviews. He enjoyed bringing up Ross's former career as an officer, and the two never failed to make fun of each other. Ricky mocked him for pretending to be about the street life when he was actually a former jail officer in a 2015 interview with Tim Westwood. 50 did not mince words. He called Ross a fake and even went so far as to say that Ross was completely irrelevant and had no respect for his profession. He also made it clear that he couldn't stand 50 by firing Ross anytime he had the opportunity.
What about you and Rick Ross?
That is desperation at the points that you hear things from him at this point. You know, because if you're looking for someone, it ain't that hard to find me. You know, I'm around. And I'm not used to having an altercation with law enforcement. I'm just not used to saying I'm going to do something to a correctional officer or to a police officer or anyone who's been under oath that's going to say with no problem everything that you've said and everything that's happened immediately after, like, you notice.
Floyd Mayweather's fallout was far more stunning, but it makes sense that 50 and Ross have never been able to put a stop to their animosity given all of that history. In the past, the two were so close that they went everywhere together, and even landed a double XL magazine cover jointly to demonstrate their love for one another. But when Floyd spent a few months in jail in 2012 on a domestic abuse allegation, everything changed. He trusted 50 to run his enterprises and maintain order while he was incarcerated. TMT 50 initially agreed to help Floyd promote Money Team Mayweather and his boxing brand, but upon closer inspection, he saw that he was in over his head. Let's just say that things rapidly went south when 50 had to start everything over because Floyd's businesses weren't even legally registered.
As he was actually going in to jail, he asked me to help him with Mayweather promotion.
Right.
Then as he actually got in and I took a look, I realized there is no Mayweather promotions. There's no LLC, there's no seal, it's not incorporated, it's just
a name.
Yeah,
that comes out people's mouths.
Right. See, technically, Floyd is a Golden Boy fighter. You see what I'm saying? He fights on every Golden Boy card. They do all the footwork on
like
every
the
show.
negotiations and the imprint, the paperwork.
They built the whole show. So when he says helping with Mayweather promotions and it's not there, I go, okay, I know what he means. He wants me to
get it together,
put it together for him. So I do team give me the money.
Because you're already invested.
Right, like when you give me your half of the money back. But I ain't trying to press him because he just got out of jail. Right. So it's like, let him cool his heels before you.
Was that in the millions?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you sitting there big and I'm like, yo, so when, but see, the fighters are an asset in themselves. They are that talent, regardlessly. Right. You know, so I'm looking at him going, so there ain't no pressure there, but I'm saying, when is he gonna say he wants to, to give me the other half of it? Well, I gotta ask you for it.
Right.
And then when
are we talking over $2 million?
It's about that.
Oh, okay.
At that point, it was, invested in.
All right.
So look, he goes, when he finally does bring up the actual the situation, he acted like he didn't know anything. Like, I didn't tell y'all to do that. I didn't tell you to do that.
Oh, man.
And I'm looking at him and he looked in my face and he told me to do that.
After spending a cool $1 million of his own money to clean up Floyd's mess, 50 expected some loyalty in return. However, Floyd changed his mind after being freed from prison and refused to pay 50 back or even match his investment. If we can all agree on one thing about 50, it's that he doesn't put up with betrayal. When 50 finally hit back, he somehow ended up appearing like the bad guy, even though he wasn't about to let Floyd alter history and make him appear that way. Floyd turned on him, saying he was attempting to take over his business. In the meantime, 50 and others were out there organizing a fundraiser called Let's Get Floyd Back in Pocket, which was akin to what Rick Ross wanted to accomplish for Big Me. Floyd went all out, disparaging 50 and calling him a boxing groupie with a failing music career.